Today we're going to go through how to practice more efficiently without sacrificing the results. So it's going to focus on if you have work to do, you have a job, or if you go to college like me and you don't have much time to practice guitar every day. So we're going to go through a few ways or a few tricks that you can do to get the same practice or the same results with less time spent actually practicing, so you can focus on college or the job and do the work that you need to do without sacrificing the instrument. So the first one I'm going to go through is practicing what you lack or what skills you lack in before doing everything else. By this I mean, say I am lacking in alternate picking. I'm going to do alternate picking exercises before I practice something I'm good at, like sweep picking or economy picking. So definitely do this to help get all the techniques so you don't know up to speed with the other techniques, so you can have a very well-rounded performance on the guitar and you won't lack in certain areas. Second one is consistency. Now, it's much better to do half an hour every day rather than a 3-hour block once or twice a week, just because you're going to forget or you're going to lose some muscle memory in that period. See, I did 3 hours on Monday, then I waited a week to do the same 3 hours. I'm not going to gain as much or maintain as much information in my, for instance, hands or in my brain if I'm using music theory, than where if I were to do half an hour every day. So half an hour across 7 days. And this also helps with, instead of spending hours and hours and hours and hours on the guitar and not having a social life, and you can just have half an hour space every day, and it can help with routine, can help with time management, and it will just help in all areas. Obviously you can change the time, you don't have to do half an hour, you can do an hour or 20 minutes or even 10 minutes, whatever works for you. Just stay consistent with at least once every 2 days, and you will gain skill very evenly as well. The third one is, and this is going to really help time management and actually practicing guitar, is do different techniques or practice techniques on different days. So for instance, I do alternate picking on Monday, sweeping on Tuesday, theory on Wednesday, stuff like that. This can really help you focus on one technique instead of trying to cram every technique into a half an hour session, which means that you can actually progress much better on that technique than have time to focus on it and really hone it in. And this will also help, as I said, not cramming into everything, meaning you'll actually get good practice where you'll actually be, properly practicing so you can gain skill or knowledge in a good way and retain it better as well, rather than just having random assortment of different techniques on every single day that you're not actually going to retain the information and progress. Fourth one is using a metronome. Now, some people hate it, and I personally like it. I would recommend it because you could track your progress, because obviously you'll notice an increase in clicks per minute or BPM, and you can see that increase and go, yeah. And if you don't see an increase, you can figure out what you're doing and why you've plateaued, or what you're doing wrong and why you've plateaued, and you can fix it. So you can track your progress very nicely with a metronome, but also it helps me practice because it regulates my tempo. So say for instance, when I'm practicing, I start at a tempo, for instance 60 BPM, where I'm very, very comfortable, and then I can increase the BPM by say 5 or 10 BPM increments, and then go faster and faster and faster, and get to a stage where I'm pushing myself to actually progress in that area of the guitar, which really helps me. And at that stage, if I was not using a metronome, I'd be focusing on staying in time and trying to have a click in my head. Whereas if I've got a metronome on my desk, then I don't have to think about that. I can just hear the click and play until I can't play anymore, and push myself past 200 BPM limits. Does that make sense? That makes sense. And the fifth one is going to come into that practicing different things on different days, is practice solos as well. Solos are great. They have lots and lots of different techniques that you might not necessarily practice exclusively, like slides or bends, for instance. And I recommend it highly. And I also recommend getting a app like Songster or Ultimate Guitar, so that you can take the solo and then slow it down by a percentage, and then increase that percentage to do exactly what I said with the metronome. Get to a point and get it up to speed. So take a solo that you don't necessarily know how to play. You know how to play it, but you can't play it. You don't have the skill for it. Take it down to like 60% and do exactly what I said with the metronome. Just go up in certain increments that you feel are comfortable, and then get to that stage where you can get it up to speed. And if you stop at 80% or 90%, that's fine. You just have to keep practicing it until you get it up to 100% comfortably. And that also helps track progress as well, is by testing yourself on certain solos. Can you play them? Can you not play them? And that's personally what I do, so I can track my progress, see what I'm doing right, see what I'm doing wrong. And yeah, that's what I do. I'm just recommending it. Obviously other things work for different people. That is the end of the video. It was a short one, but I hope you found this helpful. If you did, it'd be much appreciated if you go to my channel, subscribe and check out my other videos on guitar technique, and I'll see you in the next one.